everybody. Welcome back to another episode of SeraCraft Studios. I'm Sarah Mahan, I'm your hostess, and I haven't recorded in a couple weeks because we had a lot going on. So I know I said it would be about 2-ish weeks, and I think it's been almost 4, maybe. I'm trying to record every week, but it was crazy. Anyway, so I believe this is episode 4 maybe. Anyway, so I am Sarah. I'm the owner and dyer behind SeraCraft Yarn. You can find me on Etsy as SeraCraft Yarn, as well as Instagram and Facebook as SeraCraft Yarn. And you can find me on Ravelry as Sarah M, which is SERAM. And I am also 1/3 of the Fiber Girls podcast, which we just got to record an episode this weekend, and that was really fun. So anyway, so that was great. You have to check it out if you haven't watched it before. So I'm going to see what I can get through today. We have some ballet this morning for my daughter. She likes to sneak in, do a little cameo appearance. So we'll see. I can do a little bit, tell you a little bit about what I've been working on, and also a little bit about what has been going on here. Okay, so I will have a Linktree link in my down bar, and that will take you to where you can find me all over my other YouTube channel with the Fiber Girls, also my Etsy shop and everything, and I also have a Patreon account, and I would like to thank my patrons for their donations, because now I have a selfie stick. So that's very exciting. It makes recording easier. So hopefully I have the level figured out. Took me a little bit to see where to put everything, but it makes it a lot nicer. It was, you don't even want to know how it was rigged before on my tripod for my camera. It just was not great. So thank you so much. That was really great, and I really, really appreciate that. So let's see. Why don't we go first a little bit about what's going on. We had some crazy doctor's appointments that just took up a lot of my brain space, and I couldn't record during that time. And then my parents came to visit, and they were here for almost 2 weeks. And we had a really good visit with them. That was so nice, and we love to see them, and they get to play with the kids and see what's going on with. They got to watch my daughter do ballet, and it's been nice sunny weather. Spring goes from sunny and rainy to hail, so that's typical for us here in Eastern Washington. So it's been beautiful out, and the kids have been playing outside so much. And I know it's a normal thing for most kids, but we, being on acreage, and there's cougars and coyotes and all of that kind of stuff out here, I am reluctant to just let the kids walk around by themselves sometimes, because I get a little bit nervous. And other people maybe doing target practice and stuff like that, I just get nervous. So I don't let the kids just go outside very much. But now my son is almost 9, and he just gets home from school and says, I'm going outside to play. And it's such a normal thing. That's what I did as a kid, and it feels really good to see him just go out there and play on their swings. He has this really cool swing called a Swurfer, and it's like a skateboard, and it has ropes that are up on a post in a tree, and he can just swing back and forth on it, and it's really neat. So he's been doing that a lot, and riding his scooter, and driving his remote control car, and all of that kind of stuff. It's super cute to see. And then we got some new baby ducks, because they were just really cute. My daughter and my son really wanted ducks, so we got 3 new ones, and they're getting really big really fast. So they're out in the brooder in the barn, and I have to count all the birds again, because I sort of lose track of how many we have. So, and then some flowers are coming up. I planted daffodils and hyacinth last year, and it's very exciting to see those come up and start to bloom. and the garlic has come up, and I'm getting ready to choose some plants. So it's very exciting. So that's pretty much what's going on sort of around the house. Everything is good, and getting in a little knitting time. I wasn't knitting a lot during the sort of stressful time because I just couldn't focus, but now I'm back to it. So first, before I forget, I have a giveaway from last week, and I let my son choose a number from the YouTube comments, and the one he chose was Joan Howard. So Joan, if you would like to contact me, you can either contact me on Ravelry, or you can send me a message on Instagram at SeraCraft Yarn, or even an email at seracraftyarn@gmail.com, and give me your mailing address and let me know that you've seen this, and I will be sending you your skein of SeraCraft yarn in the Lightning Bugs colorway. Oops. And I will also be sending you a sock ruler. So I will get that out to you when I hear from you. So thank you for everyone who entered that. And speaking of giveaways, we also have a giveaway going on our Fiber Girls podcast. So if you're interested in that, we have a little Notions pouch, stitch marker, and a skein of Oloops yarn. And then also we will be doing our 500 subscriber giveaway soon for that, because we are getting close. So keep your eyes open. And then what else do I have going on? Oh, I wanted to share. I really love cookbooks. I cook and bake all the time, and I really enjoy it. And I kind of am obsessed with cookbooks. I have a pretty good collection, but I'm really funny because I just like them for inspiration, and I will follow recipes to a point, but I always tweak them. So whether it's making it nut-free for my son or whether it's making it gluten-free for me, I just will change things up all the time. But I recently got this cookbook, The Half-Baked Harvest by Tieghan Gerard, and I follow her on Instagram, and I love this cookbook. It's recipes from my barn in the mountains, which I really love, and I want to make everything in it. So when I started following her on Instagram, I kind of came across her by accident, and then I started watching her stories, and she has some highlights, and they show how to do things, and everything looked beautiful, and I wanted to eat everything. And so I told my friend Sarah from Graceland Wool about it, and she was like, yeah, I just bought that cookbook, and so I'm excited. And so now we both just keep cooking things out of it. It's a beautiful cookbook. There's so many really interesting recipes, and I just look forward to trying a lot of those. So if you are into cookbooks, this might be one to look for. And if you have suggestions, I'm always looking for cookbooks because I really love them. All different kinds. I love cookbooks. So then I have some finished objects. I have 2 finished objects. One is one that I worked on forever, and it is The Butterfly and Cocoon by Susan B. Anderson. I'm just sticking the little butterfly back in her cocoon. I made this for my daughter. There was a big break in between when I was making it because I really hate little fiddly projects. But she asked about it, and then I picked it up, and it took me like an hour to finish. It was ridiculous. So, how cute is she? So, mostly the yarn is scrap yarn, but I do know that this, sorry, my nail polish is chipping, I apologize. Well, not really apologize, but it looks terrible and I don't like it. This color is an Oloops colorway from a couple of years ago, and I don't remember the name of it. It's probably, I know I've talked briefly about this color before, and it's in my project page. I will update the project page for this on Ravelry, but I know I made a pair of mittens that were like a lacy pair of mittens a few years ago and used this yarn, and this is the leftovers from that, so you'll see that on my page. So this was in the Making One magazine. I think it was called Flora, and the pattern is by Susan B. Anderson. And so you take the little cocoon off, and she has 2 wings, which are weirdly shaped different. I don't know what I did, but I don't care. So, and they're all scraps except for this one up here, for her little face is Madeline Tosh in the modern Fair Isle colorway. So she's so cute. So I was really excited to have that done, and my daughter's really excited about that. And then the ends are not all woven in, and I don't care. I've worn it in. I wore it on our episode of Fiber Girls. Oh God. So this, oh, I might have to scoot, is my Comfort Fade cardigan with my ends. And I love it. Look at this giant shawl collar. Oh my goodness. So, and all my colors are on my Ravelry page, but the main color here is O loops on her figure 8 base, which is a worsted base, and everything else is fingering that I held double. This is the Practical Magic collection, and the colorway is called the Ants. And then it fades into Sassy Ballerina by So Happy Jane, and then Yarn Less Traveled in Spring Bouquet, and then a one-of-a-kind colorway from Graceland Wool, and then it goes into the Hedgehog Fibers Dragonfly. And I used every bit of yarn that I had except for, I have like a ball like that big maybe of the Hedgehog Fibers. So I can't do a square on anything except for in that color. It's like, I used everything. It was crazy. I usually feel like I have a lot of leftovers, but not this time. So it's a beautiful pattern. So that's the Comfort Fade Cardi by Andrea Mowry. I highly recommend it. I don't think I changed. Oh, the only modification that I made was in how she fades for the sleeve. I didn't do that, and that's because I did not have enough yarn to do it. And I didn't do the fading on the collar either because I didn't have the yarn. I wasn't going to do this dark at all, and I actually am really glad I did because I think it looks beautiful. So, so that is that sweater. That's gorgeous. And then I also have been working on little socks for my daughter. I should have brought the ball band, but it's Maui yarns, I think, in Surfer Boy Blue, and I will make sure that that's on my page. And I'm making little socks. It has a little, the mini skein for the toe is from an Advent swap that Sarah from Graceland Wool and I did, and this one was called Expectro Patronum, right? Okay, so they're little socks. They're so cute. They're just a little, I made up the pattern, 44 stitches cast on a am I using a US 0? Yes, Hiya Sharps US 0, which is a 2.0 millimeter needle. I'm doing it on Magic Loop. You can see I started the second one and I'm just doing the leg right now. So it's 44 stitches and a 1x1 rib, and then I did some stockinette for the leg. I did a slip stitch heel flap and a rounder heel is what it's called, and then for the heel turn, and then just stockinette for the leg, and then I am doing the little contrast toe, and then I have this cute little, oh, I don't know if you can see it, the stitch marker from Whips on Sticks. So cute. So these are really fun. I'm going to try to work on these today during ballet. So so those are going along really well. And then I'll put those back in my little bag. The other thing I've been working on is the Party Top by Abbeyknits. So it's that. It's a little cropped top which would be really cute over dresses and everything, and then a 3/4 sleeve, and on the sleeve, it's all just plain stockinette on the body, but then on the sleeves is an eyelet design. And it's a we talked about this on the Fiber Girls. It's a really simple pattern. It's really easy to follow. However, it is not a very in-depth pattern. It doesn't have really specific instructions. So I felt that it was fairly easy to get off of the pattern for the eyelets, and then you just kind of have to fudge it. So I'm just fudging it. And once I let go of the fact that I was frustrated with that part, it was super easy, and now it's just flying. But I was at the point where I was going to frog it because I was super annoyed with how that pattern was working out. I'm glad now that I have not done that. So the yarn I'm using is Madeline Tosh Pashmina, and the colorway is Madeline Tosh Pashmina Sport yarn in Optic 305, and it's a 75% merino wool, 15% silk, and 10% cashmere. The pattern calls for DK, and I'm using a sport, so it's going to be a little bit thinner feeling. I hope it still fits well, but that. Okay, so I'm still on my first ball, and I have the second one caked up, but we'll see how I get today. I split for the sleeves last night. So I'm just doing the body, and so it's, you know, it feels like I have a long way to go, but when I look at the pattern, I mean, you know, since it's cropped from the underarm, there's only a certain number of rows and then the ribbing, so I might be done with the body today. So we'll see. I don't know if I want to work on that or the socks while I'm at ballet, because I have ballet today and tomorrow for my daughters. I don't really know what I feel like doing. But I really like it. It's really beautiful. The yarn is so pretty because, you know, it's that cream base with black speckles. And then when you speckle with black, it splits. And so you get blue and yellow and orange and red and just different grays. And it's just so interesting to see how that plays. So I'm really liking it. I think it will go with a lot. I hesitate to use black typically because I don't wear black. I lived in big cities for a long time. I lived in San Francisco, I lived in London, and I don't like to wear black anymore, and rarely wear it. I think I have a couple of sweaters or maybe a couple of pants, and I don't gravitate towards black outside of shoes. So anyway, so that will be interesting. It's a good way to have a good basic in my wardrobe that will go with everything without it being black. My basic is gray. I like gray. So also I would like to show two projects I'm getting ready to cast on. Let me take a sip real quick. I just have a little coffee. This is one of my favorite little mugs. It's from Thomas Hammer Coffee, which is a local roaster here in Spokane, Washington. And they have just cute little mugs. And I just really like this. This is sort of my like winter one. I don't know. But I really like that one. So, okay, one of my next cast-ons is going to be the Nordiska by Caitlin Hunter. I don't know if there's I usually don't print out the first picture because I want to save the ink. But it's a worsted weight sweater. I am using fingering weight held double, and actually I may say it wrong. Okay, there's somebody who's an indie dyer out of, I believe, South Africa, Yama Fiber Arts, and her yarn, by the way, oh my gosh, is gorgeous, and I really, really need to get my hands on some of that. I don't know if it's sold in the US or only online, so I'll have to look, but her yarn is stunning. She did a worsted weight version of this sweater and has a few project notes on Ravelry, and I am going to follow her project notes and there are a few other people who also did worsted weight. So I'm just going to see what everybody has to say about it. But so it's a fingering weight sweater. I'm going to hold that double and do worsted. And this is the pattern name, and this is her little drawing of it. So it's a deep V-neck with some color work on the bottom and on the sleeve. Let's see if there's another picture. So anyway, so that is the next one that I'm doing. And my main color is going to be this chocolate brown, which is the Fiber Company Canopy Fingering in Sarsaparilla. It's 50% baby alpaca, 30% merino, and 20% viscose bamboo. So it's super squishy and soft. And I had a similar base. This is 3 Irish Girls McClellan Fingering. It's 65% merino, 25% bamboo, and 10% nylon. And the colorway for this is French Quarter, and it's this lavender, beautiful color. It has some blue and some purples. It's just really interesting. So this is my main color. This is one of my contrasting colors, which I think just look really neat together. And they just look similar they feel similar in the texture. They have a similar sheen. And I think they just will look great together. So those are both fingering and will be held double. My third color is leftover from my Humulus sweater. This is also the Fiber Company, and this is the Buttermere colorway. And this is a worsted weight, so this one I will just hold single, but I don't know if you can tell. But anyway, I'm very excited. So that's my next cast on. Probably when I get a little bit further on the body, I'll cast on for that, because why go back to the Birkin or Zwag when I can cast on something new? I just am not feeling some of the projects, and so I'm kind of changing what I'm working on to be something different. And the next thing I'm going to cast on is my first brioche project. And I am doing a beginner brioche cowl. This pattern is not on Ravelry. This is a pattern that my friend Chris wrote, and I don't know if she's going to be selling it or not. She is the owner of Knit the Studio in Spokane, Washington, and I will ask her because I feel like somebody might be interested in it. But it is a beginning brioche cowl with 2 skeins in 2 colors of DK or sport weight, and my one color is more of the Fiber Company. It's so funny. I never even owned Fiber Company maybe until a year ago, and now this will be my third project using their yarn. I love their yarn. I love it, and I want to do another full sweater in it. Besides the Nordiska, because clearly that will be. But this is amazing, this base. And this is a gift for my mom. So Mom, if you're watching, you might not get it for a while. We'll see. So this is the main color. Oh, look at that turquoise. Oh, it's so pretty. So this is the Fiber Company Road to China Light, which is a luxurious blend of cashmere, camel, silk, and baby alpaca. So it's 65% alpaca, 15% silk, 10% camel, and 10% cashmere. And the color is called Lapis, and it is just this beautiful, beautiful yarn. Oh, it's so, so soft. And the contrast is this, which is Stonehenge Fiber Mill from Michigan, where I'm originally from. But this is up north, and this is their crazy skeins in the 2-ply sport. It's 100% fine wool, and they just call these the crazy wool. And they are mill ends that they have just spun together, and it's become such a popular thing for them. No 2 skeins are alike. They're all totally different, and it's kind of just this fun grab bag, but it reminds me of spin cycle yarn, and I would love to do something like the Shift sweater or something by Andrea Mowry using the crazy yarn. And I purchased all of this at Knit the studio, and I think that would be so great. And it's, although I would love to use Spin Cycle, it's out of budget for me to do a sweater in that. But this yarn, it's $11.50 for a skein, which is 230 yards, and that's much more affordable. That's what, less than half the cost, maybe a third of the cost of Spin Cycle. And although it will not be the same look, it would be very similar, I believe. So that's a great option, and you can buy that online through StoneHedgeFiberMill.com, and then also they have it at Knit the studio, and I believe they also have it at Knit in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So, so those are my next projects. So I'm very excited. I don't think that I have anything else to talk to you about, but I'm happy to be back. I will try to be back again next week, so I can do it weekly or every other week. But maybe I'll have my party top done. That would be exciting. So I hope you're all doing well, and thank you for joining me, and happy knitting.